Hey guys, you're watching Just Hoop Talk podcast on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and to our podcast on all streaming platforms. All right, guys, welcome back to a very special episode of Just Hoop Talk. You're with your hosts, Justin Henry, Will Thompson, and today's guest is award-winning artist, ayetee out of Sacramento, California. ayetee, my man, how you living?
What it do, baby? Like Hawaii. How y'all doing?
Man, we got a lot of things to get into, man. How are you been, bro? I've been seeing a lot. Congratulations on 100,000 streams. Sushi, Spotify, man. How are you feeling right now?
I feel pretty good about that, man. Number one, I appreciate you guys having me on. And secondly, just I appreciate everybody showing me love for the record, man. You know, the Kings starting to play that record a couple seasons ago really helped push that forward. So, you know, I'm really appreciative of it. And, you know, now the only way is up from here. So now we hit 100K, we got to reset and keep it going. So really appreciate the love.
Hey, there it is, my man. And, you know, that's a big achievement, man. Even working with Sacramento Kings, getting your record out there. And like I said, I know you're making a lot of waves, man. Talk a little bit about you, though, man. You grow up a Kings fan? How did this whole Kings thing even happen?
So basically a couple of years ago, one of my good friends, Andy, who works for I believe is a third-party vendor for the Sacramento Kings. It's one of the brewing companies at Golden One Center. He was good friends with one of the DJs, DJ Lady Kate, and he gets in contact with me on Snapchat one day and was like, "Hey man, like, you have this song I had. It was called The Wave," and I was like, "Yeah, but I've got a new record though. I want to send that over to you instead." And hey, mom, can you get Lana real quick? So I was like, "I want to send you this record, Sushi." He was like, "Cool, send it." So I sent it to him. Like a day later, he hits me up. He was like, "Hey man, my friend DJ Lady Kate wants to like work with you." I was like, "Cool, like, you know, let's do it." He didn't tell me she was a Kings DJ until like 3-4 hours later. He was like, "By the way, she's the Kings DJ and she wants to play it at the game." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's something even better." So they invited me out to the game. It was against Oklahoma City Thunder a couple seasons ago, 2018, and came out and she played it at halftime and had me sitting in the loft and they played it, and it was just like, it was crazy because for me, I'm a basketball guy. I played college basketball 4 years, played 4 years high school. Hoop was my life. That was it. If it wasn't going to be music, it was going to be hoop. So to be able to work with an NBA team and let alone the home team and combine the two dreams has been nothing short of a dream come true. So it's been pretty cool.
That's big.
That's love, man.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
So we got to know, are you a Kings fan or how did that get a Kings fan?
So my whole life growing up as a kid, my whole life I was Jordan guy, Bulls fan, even through the Tim Floyd years, all of that. Always been a Bulls fan. Even through the Tim Floyd years, it was back in the day. I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old when that was going on. But as a Kings fan, I was a huge Chris Webber fan because my dad was a Michigan guy. And so I followed Chris wherever Chris went. And so when I found out he was coming to the Kings, I was in third grade, going into fourth grade. And I was like, yo, like, Chris Webber's coming to the Kings. Like, I'm going to follow the Kings. And a couple years later, when Rick Allen came out to the Granite Bay area, I went to Granite Bay High School, and his son, Pat Allen, we're 12 years old, playing in 5th grade. And I come out for tryouts, and there's this little point guard shooting on the end of the court. We're like, who is this kid? And we look down the floor, and Rick Allen's standing there. We're like,
that's crazy.
This Rick Allen's son. So his son, Pat, we started playing with him when we were in 5th grade and went all the way through high school with him, played high school ball with him. And during those Kings years, those great years where, you know, it was the, you know, C-Webb and Peja and Bobby and all those guys doing what they were doing, getting to the playoffs every year. So it was kind of cool to be a young ball player in the area, having a friend whose dad was the coach of the Kings, and being able to be a fan of not only the game, but probably my favorite player at the time playing in our city. And so that's what made it really cool for me to start following the Kings. And, you know, it made it easier when, you know, the Bulls were winning 20 games a year. It made it a lot easier for me to follow the Kings.
I bet. So, some of those Kings years are tough, you know?
Some of those Kings years were tough, you know, and even, you know, when I was a kid, I remember being 5, 6 years old, and, you know, my mom went to a Kings game when they were still playing at Arco, Kings Bulls 92, 93, the year Jordan retired. And I remember the story because I think I got in trouble at my house, and I was supposed to go to that game. Couldn't go, so I didn't get a chance to see Mike. But even then, that was, my time where I'm like, yo, it's the Sacramento Kings who are my home team, and it's the Bulls who are my favorite team. And just having love for both is kind of always been where I've been at. So it's weird when the Kings play the Bulls because it's kind of a win-win for me. But when it comes to, who I'm really rooting for at the end of the day, I love seeing both cities do well.
That's dope, man. And you mentioned you played 4 years, high school, 4 years, college, man, and that Jordan was the player you idolized growing up. I know you're a tall dude, man. What position did you play? How tall are you, man? Just a little bit of background on that college game.
Yeah, so I was a two guard. I played shooting guard. It kind of started, though, when I was in 8th grade going into freshman year. I was 5'10", 5'11", in May, and then come like July, August, I was 6'3". So I come into camp, and my coach is like, yo, like, what's going on here? We were going to have you come in as a forward. And I always had guard skills. Playing the game, my dad always taught me to be able to play the game inside out. Even if as a guard, you got to be able to penetrate and drive and score. You got to be able to knock down mid-range shots like Michael, like Kobe. And you also have to be able to be a three-point threat as well. So during a game, a defender guarding you can't really pick and choose how they're going to defend you, because you've shown them what I call it a 3-piece special. I hit you with a 3, a mid-range, and a drive, and after that, you're at my disposal. So that was kind of the mindset going into it when I started balling. And, I started playing two guard when I was probably 14, 15 when I started playing AAU ball. I played for NorCal Pharaohs. When I was a freshman at Granite Bay, they had me play center because I was 6'3", and I was the tallest person that could play the position. But I kind of like to play the stretch 4 position. So even in 2003, when I was a freshman, I wanted to be like Dirk Nowitzki and Chris Webber. Yeah. I wanted to be able to shoot jumpers from the mid-range and shoot threes, but I also want to be able to post you up and torture you in the post as well too. And that turned into me studying Michael's footwork in the post and studying Kobe's footwork in the post. And that's what made me be like, okay, even though I like playing forward, I really want to be a two guard. Like, that's what I want. So sophomore year, I started playing varsity. I'm 6'4" at the time, but they have me play forward. And, I'm 15 playing against seniors and juniors. So I'm trying to figure out how to play the game, how to get open, get open off cuts, how to use my body. I'm a skinny kid. How do I use my body to get open? How do I use my quickness to get open? That whole year was figuring that out. And then come junior year was when the guard play started coming more into play. I was number 45 because I was like, I'm not going to be number 23 like Mike, but I'll wear that comeback number. So I was 45, and I just wanted to be him. That's it. I just wanted to be Mike. That's all I cared about, was being like him and being able to play the game like him, and at the same time being able to play with the same tenacity like Kobe. It was just having that mindset. And so those two guys I just totally idolized as far as the way they approached the game. And even from the way I approached it, being a kid that would wake up at 5 in the morning and work out from 6 to 7 while all my teammates are asleep, and then go to class all day and then still go to practice and put in work. And guys are wondering why things are happening the way they were happening for me. It's because I'm putting in that work.
Man, that Mamba mentality, right?
It's the Mamba mentality. It's that mindset like Mike had, where he's like, I came in the league on the bottom of the totem pole. That was his mindset. Even though he was this highly touted top 3 pick rookie, his mindset was, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole and I have to prove my worth every single day, and not just in one game where I score 30 or in a week where I have a good week where I'm rookie of the week. I need to show you this on a daily basis in practice, in every drill. I got to show it even when we go to get water. I'm jogging over there and I'm going to be first when I go do that. I'm doing it all as far as competitiveness is concerned.
And you put in the work, and you can hear it in your music. Obviously, you've been around for a while, but you're catching a lot of steam right now. And Sacramento Kings actually asked you to come in and do the drop that we talked about, do the theme song for the year, man.
Whole squad going up. Whole city going up.
De'Aaron Fox. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Whole squad going up. Everybody know what's up. Whole city going up. Sac Kings, that is us. Wanna rise on the come up. Competition, they don't want none. Working, gotta get it done. 2 a days all season. It really should be no surprise. We're making them open their eyes. Making the haters realize. Really, the limit's the sky. Motivated. Grinding, we be grinding. Can't stop, no, we can't stop till we get that. Let it work down. Whole squad going up.
Throw it down.
Everybody knows what's up. Whole city going up. Sac Kings, that is us.
What kind of experience was that like, just going through? I know the backstory of getting in there, but how easy has that made it for you, like being a basketball player and having that come out through your music and talking, hearing the lyrics that you spit that we just heard right now?
It's definitely goes hand in hand for sure, because I coach basketball as well. I coach boys. I've been doing that for about 7 years. And it's the same thing I teach them, which is, you approach every day with the same tenacity. If you got a dream, you approach it with a level of tenacity and intensity that's going to allow you to get to the place that you want to be. And so it's the same thing with the music. I've always been like that when it came down to us first starting this. When I first started back in 2010, Mom, when I first started back in 2010, we were in the basement. I mean, literally, my boy had a house, nice house, but downstairs he had studio set up, and we were literally in the basement. And it was just us. And it was just us and our belief in our dreams. And I approached it the same way I did with Hoop. It was like, hey, if I want to make a team and be somebody that's successful, if I want to be a captain and leader, I need to be in here every single day putting in that work. And it started actually my junior year of college. I started full-time hoop, full-time school, but get done with class. And days that we weren't traveling and going to play on the road, I'm going to the studio, staying, working, doing my thing, staying overnight, sleeping until 6 in the morning, getting up, going to class, and doing it every day. And on weekends, I hang out with my buddies, and, my buddies are college kids. They're doing their thing, getting their degrees. I always was around a lot of smart guys, but they're able to do other things, though, like the parties, the having fun, the being the college guy. And so for me, I was just more so focused on other things. And so I would be around, but I'm like, I got to go to practice, or I got a studio session, or, I got to be up to get this paper done, or I have a test. And my friends were always like, man, how are you doing it? Like, you're crazy. You got school full-time. You're a full-time athlete. You're in the studio every day. You're dropping mixtapes. When do you sleep? And it's not to me, it wasn't about that. It was about, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I've always known that. And so the same mindset I had as a basketball player, I've always applied to the studio and to being a musician as well. And I think that's why you've seen, even in music, some guys who were former athletes do well as musicians, because they understand the mindset that it takes to get something done and to work towards something that you really want. So it definitely goes hand in hand for sure.
Dude, I love everything about that, because there is a certain mentality you have to have as a hooper, I'm sure, as an artist, but to be successful in any career, you got to have a certain mindset. And I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the mindset of the players right now in the bubble, because I know that's that same focus. When you're in college, it's like, what you have to do, focus on school, focus on hoop, and in your case, also focus on music. These guys are 100% focused on ball right now. And Will and I talked about this in length, and just the mentality that they have. We want to get your opinion, man. How is your take right now on this NBA bubble playoff basketball right now?
Man, it's one of those things where it's like, for me as a fan of the game, it's great to see the game back. And everything that's going on in our society is great to see the game back, because it provides a platform for us, for Black players, and for Black voices. It also, brings up other issues that players are dealing with, as far as being inside of a bubble. We just seen them recently finally get a chance to get some family come on in. We saw some, but I felt bad for the coaches, because the coaches were unable to see their families. And, it's like, hey, the players, it's really important for the players to be able to be around family. But, what about the leader of the team? He needs that connection as well. So I think it brings up some other questions about players' mental health. We saw Paul George discuss that post-game, even after a game where he almost had 40 points. He went directly to talking about, I've been mentally checked out. I haven't seen my girl, I ain't seen my family. And it's hard to get focused on the game when you almost feel like you're at camp again and you're like 12, and you can't see anybody. So I think it's great for the game to be back and to be playing again and give a platform for what's going on for social injustice. But I think it raises other questions as far as, if this pandemic goes on through the end of the year, would it be realistic to ask players to be in a bubble for a season's long run? And I think the answer to that would probably have to be no.
Yeah, that would be tough, man, for sure.
That would be tough. And it's like, even with LeBron, seeing LeBron, it's like, man, that beard and that, it's like, man, my man is looking rough. He's looking rough. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's going through it. He's a family man. It's Savannah, the kids, his daughter. That's his thing. And I know had to have been tough for him. John Morant, rookie of the year, new baby. You're asking him to do a lot. Jason Tatum, you know, Kyle Lowry and all his family. It's just tough to see these guys have to not be around their kids. And, you know, I got my little one running around here right now. And it'd be tough for me to be like, hey, I have to see you on FaceTime for 4 months, sweetheart, as I'm trying to get this Larry O'Brien. You know,
different situation, man. It's a whole different situation. And, you know, I think what it has done is, when we talked about, you know, obviously the circumstances are different and it's kind of by force as opposed to like by choice. The players are forced to be in here. We heard the asterisk talk earlier. It could be an asterisk season, but it looks like the level of play has actually increased as opposed to traditional playoffs and regular season. Who do you got right now? NBA champion. I want to know, who is AT's pick for NBA champion right now?
In the finals. Well, I had this conversation actually the other day while I was trying to figure out what version of the Lakers we're going to see. We'll see it in game 2, which version they're going to be moving forward. Because if we see playoff LeBron decide to kick in, then I got to go with any team with LeBron James in a playoff format. I would have to go with them. But if we see some form of inadequacy from the supporting cast, the Caldwell Popes of the world, the Carusos of the world, guys like Kyle Kuzma who need to still come off the bench and give him 15 or 20.
Where has he been?
Then I'm going to have a problem. Because the thing with Kuzma is, you know, he came out and made that bold statement after he had that really good game where he said, you guys know what the situation is with me. I play behind some of the best in the league. If I was on any other roster, you guys know I'd be a starter. Ever since he made that comment, where you been at?
Vanished, gone.
Where you been at? And so that's my only thing with them is we don't know what version that we're going to see. So if we don't see that version, then I would have to go with the defending champions, the Raptors.
Yeah.
Toronto Raptors, man.
They were 0.5 seconds away from going down 0-3.
Yeah.
And it's just the heart of a champion. I just like Fred VanVleet. I like Siakam. I like Pascal Siakam. I like Nick Nurse. I just like them. I like the way they play the game. They remind me of the way I coach the game, which is we don't have all the diaper dandies in the world, but we're going to play the game the right way. Players movement, ball movement, great shooters, a combination of slashers, and then also guys that understand how to run how to run point guard. VanVleet's just underrated. He's got great ball control. He's got a great assist to turnover ratio. He takes good shots. He never takes bad shots. And then also defensively, he's going to lock up his opponent. Who he's playing against. Excuse me. He's undercover good defender, on-ball defender, and you know, even though he looks just like Drake, I think that probably helped him in this situation more than anything. And he's good. I like him a lot, and I love Lowry. You know, he's a savvy veteran.
Yeah.
You know, I love the way he plays the game. OG plays below the rim and below the net, but he just understands it. So I have to go with Toronto if LA doesn't get it together in game 2.
All right. Well, little question before you get going, man. Who's your game like? If you had to compare yourself to one player, current or past, who would you say AT's game is like right now?
My game is definitely like Klay Thompson, 100%.
Yeah.
I played like Klay Thompson. I was a guy that when I played in college, I was a three-point specialist and a scorer. So I shot over 40% from three. I typically had mismatches because I played against guys at the two-guard position who were 6'2", 6'3". So even if you were 15, 20 pounds bigger than me, you're not going to come guard me 35 feet away from the basket. If you do, I'm blowing by you. It's your funeral. Also, if you play in between, like I said, study the footwork of Mike and Kobe, I'm going to give you the shimmy and get to my place on the floor. Like Kobe always said, good scorers always get to where they want to get to on the floor, always. So it was a thing for me where I had mismatches all day, and I could shoot over people. I could back people down, post up, whatever. I also was unselfish. Guys would start boxing one of me because they knew I was a great shooter. So if you box and one me, I'm unselfish enough to set up screens, down screens, and ball screens to get other guys open. And I'm more than happy with watching my teammates burn your back end while you're over here worried about me dropping 40 on you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my mindset was, hey, it doesn't matter whether it's me or my teammates. Kind of Damian Lillard type mindset. You know, whether it's me or my guys, it doesn't matter. But you know, I didn't need the ball a lot. I didn't need to dribble a lot to get shots. Kind of like Klay, I could just catch and shoot. I was cool with that. But yeah, if I had to pick, it'd definitely be Klay. And I'm super excited to see Klay get back and playing because we miss watching the Splash Brothers this year. Those guys are just
Yeah, we definitely need to
man.
see the Warriors back in action, man, and be a big year for them, I think, next year. And, man, you've had a big year yourself, man. Sushi's out, the new record's out. So talk to us a little bit, man. Talk to us a little bit about Sushi, the rise, and what you got next.
So, now, appreciate everybody that's been supporting Sushi. We're just going to keep pushing that and letting it keep doing its thing. And shout out to the Kings. I reached out to everybody yesterday that's always helped support that song and my platform. The Kings, DJ Lady K, DJ Elements, my buddy Andy, the good people over at Good Day Sacramento, everybody, my good friend DJ Hector Rez out here locally who always spins the record, all my fans who are constantly spinning it and posting it and showing me it. They're the real reason why it's happened. And I always think that way. I give all the love to my people when we have a success. And, it's the same thing with my boys too when I coach. When we win, I give them all the praise. When we lose, I take it all on the head because it's my job as a leader to get them in the right place. So, now we're just keeping it moving. I have a project out right now called It's a Wave. There's a song on there called Surfing that's very kind of similar to Sushi that we're going to be getting a video done for. The cover art for that, I'm kind of like a Ken doll, like CGI-ing on the surfboard type thing, which is kind of dope. So we're just focused on that, getting these records out, and got some people biting, got some labels calling and interested, and not just myself, but some people on my team as well. So it's an exciting time for us, even through this pandemic. And I just wanted to show not just my fan base, but kids that are out there watching me that even when tough times come, if you just focus on what you love and you really put your mind to it, you can do whatever, you can achieve great things. Because I'm just a skinny kid from Vallejo, California that made something happen, man. So if I could do it, you could do it too.
Love it, man. We got a lot of young viewers out there that appreciate those words of wisdom, my man. AT, we got to get you back on, man, and see if that prediction came through. That Raptors, if they come through and take it all, man, we definitely got to talk shop when that happens.
Definitely have me come back on, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Much love to you, Justin, and you, William, as well, too, man. I love the platform, man, and you guys have a good rest of the day, fellas. Much love to y'all.
Hey, AT, take it easy, my man.
All right, guys.
That does it for another episode of Just Hoop Talk. Be sure to subscribe on all platforms, YouTube and all streaming platforms. Just Hoop Talk, another edition in the books. Peace.
Let's roll, sushi. Baby girl, let's roll, sushi. She gon' tell her friends like Uzi when I pull up.